welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over 5 things that changed for me in a positive way when I switched over to a vegan, whole foods, plant-based diet. Now I say whole foods, plant-based diet because remember, you can still eat an unhealthy diet if you're a vegan. There's, Oreos are vegan, there's processed meats and cheeses that are vegan, oils, tons of oils are vegan. So again, you can still be unhealthy and not notice any changes just by going vegan. But I specifically decided to eat a whole foods, plant-based diet for my health, which we'll get into, and that is why I saw the changes that I did. So I'm really excited to share some of these with you today. I do want to say hi to those of you who are new here. My name is Tia, and here on this channel, I just love to show you how you can live and thrive eating a whole foods plant-based diet. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy. I tried for a very long time to eat this way, and I let myself hold me back. And finally, which we'll talk about soon, I decided, you know what? This doesn't have to be so complicated. And I figured out it's not. It's pretty easy. So I love to share that with you, how I was able to make this lifestyle stick for me. I also love to share with you how I was able to get healthy and lose up to 50 pounds of unhealthy weight. So if this all sounds interesting to you, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you stick around. Okay, so let's get right into it because I don't know how long this is gonna go. And if you like this video, will you please give it a like so I know to do another one like this, because trust me, there's not just 5 great things that happened from me moving over to a plant-based diet. There's probably more like 10 or 15, but this video would be probably an hour or more long if I was to go over that whole list. So if you like this, again, let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and then I can do another one kind of like a continuation, like number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then maybe 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the first thing that improved for me eating a vegan, whole foods, plant-based diet was I was able to control my gallbladder. I should say more specifically, the gallstone, the giant gallstone inside of my gallbladder that would cause gallbladder attacks for me. This was something that I started experiencing, I would say probably 2, maybe 3 years prior to me switching over to a whole foods plant-based diet. I switched over December of 2019. And I would say probably late 2016, 2017, I started having these little pains kind of on my right side, under my rib cage. I wasn't sure what it was. It felt very uncomfortable. And I remember one night I thought I was having like a little heart attack. It wasn't super severe, but it was a feeling I had never felt before in my chest. There was a pain radiating to my shoulder and the back of my shoulder, and I just know that a lot of women who have heart attacks, those symptoms can kind of present themselves like that. So I got a bit freaked out. I went to the hospital. They did an EKG. They checked all of my heart. Everything looked fine. They did not check my gallbladder. So we just kind of chalked it up to nothing, really. So I came home and continued to eat the unhealthy way that I was eating, just a standard American diet. And fast forward 2 years later, around 2 years later, November of 2019, I was awoken by a horrific pain, like a call 911 pain. My husband was literally dialing 911 and I grabbed his hand. I knew it wasn't a heart attack because I had felt similar feelings like this before. So I told him, I'm gonna bear with this. I'm pretty sure this is a really bad gallbladder attack. If this does not go away within the next 15 to 20 minutes, you can call 911. So this was some of the worst pain I had ever experienced in my life. I had to breathe through it, and I had my children naturally, and so I know what the pain of that feels like. This was probably about 4 times worse, 5 times worse. By the grace of God, within 10 minutes, it stopped, and I got up, I was walking around, I was Googling how to make a gallbladder attack better, if that was even a thing. Somehow it stopped, and I told my husband, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna have them request a scan of my gallbladder to really see what's going on. And so we did. Come to find out that I did have a gallbladder attack. They did an ultrasound on my gallbladder, and I had a huge, I don't know if it's the size of my fist, because I think your gallbladder is pretty small, but a huge gallstone in there, and it was really close to the opening where the bile from your gallbladder goes into your liver. So I was told, a doctor ended up calling me, and I was told that I needed to get my gallbladder out, and I was devastated. If there's one thing in life that I am afraid of, it is going under the knife. And so I did not want to get my gallbladder taken out. Of course, yes, because I didn't want to have surgery. But number 2, I didn't want to lose a part of my body. I felt so ashamed of myself for doing this to myself. And of course I did. I spent my entire 20s and part of my 30s before I got pregnant doing low carb, high fat diets. And I can almost guarantee you I caused my cholesterol to go higher, which then can cause a lot of gallstones. And so I knew I did this to myself, and I wanted to be able to fix it myself if possible. So I asked the doctor if my gallbladder was diseased in any way, if it was infected. And I was told no, it was fine. It was just I had this really large gallstone in there. And the only way to make sure I don't get another gallbladder attack would be to take it out. He said because the next one, the gallstone could get lodged in that opening, and you would have to have emergency surgery. It would be horrific. So I told the doctor, I'll call you back. I'm not sure I want to schedule surgery, because I knew in my mind I was gonna eat a whole foods plant-based diet. I had been wanting to eat this way for so long, but like I was saying in the beginning, I held myself back. I told myself how difficult it would be, how, all my family and friends didn't eat this way. It was impossible for me to live this life. And when this situation happened, I quickly realized, girl, you better get your stuff together, or you are gonna have to have surgery. And this is just the start to other things. This is just the start to other things. So I came home from that appointment and told my husband, this is it. I am going plant-based. I'm gonna figure out how to make this work for my life, for our family, and that is exactly what I did. And I am proud to say 2 years later, almost to the day, I have not had even a flutter of anything, knock on wood, come from my gallbladder. And it just feels really good to be able to control any type of attack, to be able to keep my gallbladder, and to know that the foods I am putting into my body, or the foods that my body is supposed to digest and process and absorb. So yeah. That is the number one thing that has changed in a better way for me, eating this way. All right, so the second thing that happened to me in a great way after I decided to eat a vegan, whole foods, plant-based diet was I dropped 50 pounds of unhealthy weight that I was carrying. Now, I know a lot of y'all out there probably think or thought that this was why I decided to eat this way, to lose weight. Yes, I did need to lose weight, but that's the gallbladder issue was really what set me on my way with eating this way. I was scared out of my mind. Again, not only from that, but what was next, So yeah, so I started to eat this way, and I made sure I had read Dr. John McDougall's book, The Starch Solution. And before I say that, let me say I came across Forks Over Knives, the documentary, maybe about 7 years prior to December of 2019. And so that's when I first realized like I wanted to eat this way, but I struggled for that whole amount of time. From when I saw the documentary to 2019, I struggled trying to make it a part of my life. So I knew of it, I knew the benefits of it, and I never had success with it until this point. And I think one of the reasons I was so successful transitioning and sticking to this way of life, there's so many things, but one of the reasons is I came across Dr. John McDougall's book, The Starch Solution, and I read it. And it just, not only was I excited with the thought of eating starch and carbs. Now I'm talking good whole carbs, not French fries that you get at a fast food place, and pizza and cake, even though those things are mostly fat than carbs. Yeah, I was excited about eating potatoes and rice and beans and quinoa and lentils and what else? I mean, there's so many other good whole carbs that we are meant to eat. And prior to reading this book, I still had that mentality of no carbs. And so when you're restricting carbs and you move over to a whole foods plant-based diet, you're starving a lot. Okay, I mean, at least I was, because you're eating a lot or mostly non-starchy veggies. And yes, things like kale and spinach, they're amazing for us. We need to eat them. Fruits, we need to eat them. They're great, but these things are really low in calories. And to sustain this way of life, you gotta be eating rice and potatoes and quinoa and beans, just like I was saying. So I read the book, and a light bulb just kind of went off in my mind. And I realized how our bodies were meant to eat, that we shouldn't be restricting carbohydrates, and I went with it. And so I decided, I didn't fully do the starch solution, like follow every single thing it said. I just knew I wanted to eat a whole foods plant-based diet, and I went with it. And because my dishes were centered around starches and carbohydrates, I was always, and I still am, always satisfied. I'm always filling my belly with healthy, nutritious foods. I am also filling my plate, speaking of nutrition, with non-starchy veggies. I have fruit on the side. The sky is the limit. When you eat this way, you can eat in abundance. I just did that, and the weight just slowly started to come off of me. And it really was mind-blowing, because almost my whole life, from the age of 11, I hate to admit that, but that was 11 or 12, the first time I ever felt the pressure to lose weight. I had been dieting, from 11 to 12 all the way up to 39 years old. I was dieting and always thinking I had to count calories or measure portions, or for the most part, avoid carbohydrates. And it was just miserable. So for the first time, I was just so happy to eat, enjoying eating, I should say, and getting healthy and losing weight, getting to a healthy weight. Listen, I'm no twig. I have a great, curvy, fit body, and I love it. Do I want to lose a little bit more weight? Sure, but no pressure, because I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm at a good, healthy BMI, or BMIs can kind of be off sometimes. I should say I have a healthy height to waist ratio. And yeah, that's the second thing that happened to me going to this way of life. All right, moving on to the third thing that improved for me, eating a whole foods plant-based diet, was my hormones kind of evened out. Now, I don't know the technical term for this. Maybe my thyroid improved. I never really had thyroid issues before, but I know my hormones went to the way that they are supposed to. And I know this from a lot of different factors that changed with my body, such as my mood, my skin. Well, first of all, let me say my moods evened out. I wasn't so just crazy impatient anymore. Like I actually had patience. I wasn't so angry all the time when things didn't go my way, or frustrated, I should say. I don't really get angry a lot. My skin evened out, and really I know it's kind of cliche to hear, you hear about people that eat healthy, get this natural glow. I really did get a glow to my skin, and I do sometimes have it. I just noticed a huge improvement in my skin. My hair, okay? I've had curly hair my entire life. You never know, because I have my hair like this. I probably, you know what? I'm gonna go wash my hair real quick, because I don't want to talk about my hair and how curly it is now and you don't see it. Hold on. Okay, look at this. Do you see my curls? Like, they were gone. They were gone for a really long time throughout my 30s. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. So I was born with curly hair, ringlets, beautiful, beautiful curls. Had curls throughout childhood, adulthood, and around my 30s, let me mute this phone. Around my 30s, my hair started to get real straggly. Like I wasn't getting this at all. I went with it, when I was pregnant with my son, my hair was really curly. My hormones were probably like on fire. Then after I had him, my hair went kind of, limp. I had my daughter, got even more unhealthy, not because of her, just because of my bad eating habits. My hair was pretty much straight. I mean, it had like some of the cowlicks I have, but it was pretty much straight. I had my daughter, and I could not get my hair to curl for anything. Like, it just wouldn't curl. And so I went with it, and I did my hair straight. It's funny, even if you go back to my channel, to some of the first videos that I did, actually for a while, my hair was straight because even though I had been eating a whole foods plant-based diet, I had continued to do my hair straight because I didn't know that my curls came back. And one day, I think I washed my hair and I went to bed with it damp, and I woke up and it looked like this, and I was like, oh my goodness, my curls are back. And so I just started doing my hair, and it has never been this healthy, this bouncy, I think since I was like 3 years old. My curls have come back, and that is, I believe, a direct reflection of the way I'm eating, the nutrients I'm putting in my body, my hormones evening out, along with some of the other things I mentioned. Yeah, just awesome. I found a great product to use for it too. I figured I'd show y'all since I just washed my hair and I have this stuff. This is just the products I use by Coconut. This company is amazing. They're vegan, cruelty-free. Stuff smells amazing, but I'm telling you, it helps. If you have curly hair, it just helps keep it healthy. So yeah, that's my curly hair story. Now, also in talking about my hormones evening out, I thought about not mentioning this, but I feel like I should, so I'm gonna do it. So if there's any men listening to this and you don't wanna hear about female things, you could just fast forward to number 4. But again, I feel like I want to mention this. My periods have gotten amazing. I don't think periods can be amazing to people. I never thought it was possible for a period to be awesome. But if that is possible, well, mine are. Because I went from someone who had a very sporadic cycle length, like every month it would be like every 24 days, and then the next month it would be 27 days, and then the next month it would be every 30 days. It was so sporadic. I went from that to having, like clockwork, almost to the same time cycle. So every single 28 days. This has been 2 years now consistently. I also went from having horrific cramps. I'm talking like laying on the ground, moaning, popping painkillers every 6 to 8 hours. I went from that to having 0 cramps at all. I am not exaggerating. No, I'm not saying this will happen for you. I do think if you eat this way consistently, you can find improvement in menstrual cramps. But for me, I literally don't have any. And sometimes this is a little bit of a problem for me because that's how I used to tell my period was coming. I don't track it on like a calendar or anything. That's how I knew my cycle was about to start. I would get cramps about a day or two before. Well, now I don't get cramps at all. So I do have to track because it'll just show up if I'm not tracking it, because I won't have any cramps. So how awesome is that? No cramps whatsoever. And then just my actual period itself, it's not super heavy anymore. It's actually just a normal, I don't even know what you call it. It's about 3 days, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That's it. So again, it's really been awesome. If a period can be awesome, well, mine has become that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know there are a lot of people out there who have trouble with their cycle. They have just all kinds of issues, and I wouldn't say that I was someone who struggled a lot with that type of thing, but it sucked. It wasn't awesome. And now it kind of is. So, you know, if we as women have to go through that, well, I would definitely want to go through it the way that I am. So, yeah, I wanted to bring that up for y'all. Okay, what number are we on? I think we're on number 4. The fourth thing that changed for me eating this way, and I don't really have a ton to say about this, but I definitely am going to talk about it, is my cholesterol has improved tremendously. It was at about 260, 263 prior to eating this way, and I had a really difficult time keeping my cholesterol in a healthy range really all throughout my 20s and my 30s. I mean, just, you know, as an adult, because that's when you usually are getting like correct cholesterol tests and stuff. So yeah, I struggled to keep my cholesterol down. And I remember, I think I was 37, which would be around 2017. I was told by my doctor that we should start looking into the possibility of me going on a statin. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm 37. Like, I don't want to have to start a statin and then take it the rest of my life. Like, it seemed kind of crazy to me, but the doctor had said, you know, your family has a history of heart disease, and so it's probably something that you're gonna have to take for the rest of your life. And so, what a bummer. Like, I did not, number one, want to take that for the rest of my life, but number two, to be so young and be told that you're probably gonna have to start taking medication soon. You know, that sucked. So yeah, moving over to a plant-based diet, about 6 months, I would say maybe 9 months after doing that, I went and got a blood test taken, and my cholesterol was down to 145. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that it was below 200, and so for it to be 145, I was really, really so excited about that. I don't know the exact triglyceride numbers or HDL or LDL numbers, but they were good enough to have my overall cholesterol at 145. And not only that, just to kind of mention with the blood test, my protein levels, my iron levels, and my calcium levels, all three of those were higher than they were when I was eating meat, dairy, and eggs, you know, on the standard American diet. So if you are someone who thinks that you won't get enough protein or iron or calcium eating this way, my friend, you can. You can super easily. I never even, and I still don't think about it. I just eat these amazing plant foods. I eat a wide variety, and I am getting more than enough than I need. So I just thought I would mention that too. But yeah, number 4 thing that improved for me was my blood work and my cholesterol. All right, and last but not least, the 5th change that I'm gonna mention today that improved for me was diabetes. Now, I didn't have diabetes prior to eating this way, but I was told that I was pre-diabetic. Diabetes does not run in my family. No one I know in my family has ever had diabetes. They've never had gestational diabetes, but I have. And I had it with my son, who's my firstborn, and I remember the doctor telling me, because I was just so shocked. I was not expecting it. Again, no one I knew in my family had ever had it, so why would I have it? And I remember my doctor told me this is probably directly related to my diet and the way I had been eating prior to getting pregnant, which was low carb, high fat. And so it was just a shock to me because I really thought I had been eating healthy. I really thought that eating a keto, or really at the time I think it was like an Atkins or South Beach type diet, was healthy, because I mean, after all, that's what a lot of us are led to believe. So I wasn't. This was like one of the first times I realized in my life, in my early 30s, like, you're not healthy. I know you think you're healthy, Tia, but you're not. And so I had my son, and I was just told to keep an eye on my blood sugars, because since I did have gestational diabetes, I now was at risk of, or I was at a higher risk of developing diabetes in my lifetime. So that was kind of a scary thing. I never really watched it too much, and when I say it, I mean my blood sugar. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I actually didn't have gestational diabetes. I remember I was nervous about being diagnosed with it again, so I was very conscious of the things I was eating when I was pregnant with my daughter. So I didn't have it with her, but after I had my daughter, I could feel, because I knew what the feeling was like to have high blood sugar and low blood sugar, but mostly high blood sugar. I remember having many times where I would eat something and feel like my blood sugar was going really high. And so I had kept my little glucose tester. You know how well, I don't know if you know, but those of you who have had experience with diabetes, you just prick your finger and you test your blood on the little test strip. So I kept my glucose kit from when I had gestational diabetes. So I went to CVS or Walgreens and I bought the little test strips to have with me, so I could test my glucose levels whenever I would feel that way, just kind of get a little bit of an insight as to what was going on and if what I was feeling and thinking was really happening. Sure enough, every time I would have that feeling, I would test my blood, and it would be between like 100 to 125, my blood sugar levels, which technically, I believe, is pre-diabetes. If your blood sugar level is over 125, it is diabetes, and I believe 100 to 125 is considered pre-diabetes. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, I was consistently having those readings. So I was pre-diabetic, and now, you know, eating a whole foods plant-based diet, eating carbs, believe it or not, eating the real natural sugars from fruit, believe it or not, my blood sugar is in normal range. I'm feeling amazing, and I don't have to worry about my blood sugar spiking anymore. I don't have to worry about getting diabetes in the future. I am completely eating a diet that prevents diabetes. And if you want to know more about that, if you want to know more about how to be proactive with diabetes, how to help yourself heal from diabetes the correct way. And I say correct way because there's many ways of eating out there that is recommended that just kind of puts a Band-Aid on it. It's just temporarily stopping the symptoms of diabetes. But if you want to reverse it and heal it, you know, it's been proven that a whole foods plant-based diet is the way to do it. So, you know, this is just me saying this. I am no doctor. This is just information that I've read and studied. So if you want to know more specifics about this, I highly recommend checking out the Mastering Diabetes Instagram page. They have an amazing YouTube channel. I will link both below. And yeah, they are helping diabetic people left and right. And so yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out. So I will again link that below for you in the description box. All right, that is it for me today. Again, if you found this video helpful, if you want to hear more of the things that have changed in a positive way for me by eating a whole foods, plant-based diet, a healthy vegan diet, please hit that like button. Not only does that tell me that you would like to hear more about that, or that you enjoyed this video, it helps this channel out, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, again, if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you stick around, and yeah, that is it for me today. I enjoyed bringing this video to you. I'm not sure I actually really shared all of the amazing things that have happened to me with you guys yet. It's about time I got on with it. So, all right, y'all have a good day, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.